She's typing her third message in a row, not because she's clingy, because 20 minutes of silence feels in her body like I've been abandoned. He's not answering, not because he doesn't care, because a third message in a row feels in his body like I can't breathe. They're both right about themselves and both completely wrong about each other. Today we're running a checkup that will stop you from resenting your partner for going quiet and stop you from blaming yourself for the anxiety. And even if you think you already know which one of these two you are, stay until the middle. Most people get it wrong at first. Trust me, you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you, and nothing wrong with your partner either, no matter what either of you currently thinks about the other. You probably have one fight that keeps happening, just with a different excuse each time. Sometimes it's about who should call first after an argument. Sometimes it's about why one of you needs to talk it out immediately while the other needs an hour of silence. One of you reaches out when anxious, the other pulls away when anxious. Then afterward, neither of you can figure out why your partner is being so weird about it, like they're doing it on purpose just to get under your skin. For years, you may have just called it a personality clash. That's just how he is. That's just how she is, that's just me, I've always reacted this way. But science stumbled onto this mechanism almost by accident, watching behavior in an ordinary empty room. And what researchers saw there explains a good half of your recurring fights far more precisely than the word personality. And it explains it without a single person being at fault, which for most couples is already a relief on its own. I'm not a therapist, and I'm not here to diagnose you or your relationship. I won't tell you which of you is broken and which is normal. You don't need to rebuild your personality. You just need to learn each other's language, because right now you're speaking two different dialects of closeness and you both think you're speaking the same one. One rule: answer separately from your partner, honestly, without peeking at their answers. Write it in your phone's notes app or write in the comments under this video. No bot, no outside link. The entire checkup happens right here, start to finish, inside this video. Your partner doesn't need to download anything either. Let's take a quick detour into the science in just a minute. In the 1960s, psychologist Mary Ainsworth ran what's now called the strange situation experiment. She watched how toddlers reacted when their mother left the room and came back. Some waited calmly and lit up when she returned, the secure type. Others cried and struggled to calm down even once mom was already back, the anxious type. A third group barely reacted at all, calmly went on playing. But the instruments told a different story. Their stress levels were just as high, they just didn't show it, the avoidant type. Later, researchers added a fourth, disorganized, where the child reaches for the parent and pushes them away at the same time, usually where comfort had at some point come paired with unpredictable fear. In the 1980s, psychologists Cindy Hazan and Philip Shaver showed the same patterns show up in adults in romantic relationships. Same exact dynamic, just swap the mother in an unfamiliar room for the partner in your shared apartment. None of these patterns is a flaw or a diagnosis. They're different, equally functional ways a nervous system learned to handle closeness. The problem doesn't start when a person has their own pattern. It starts when two different patterns end up in the same relationship and neither person realizes what's actually happening. Instead of just assuming my partner's acting like this on purpose. Now we're going to do something that will dissolve 90% of your repeat fights. One rule only: answer honestly, don't reach for the flattering answer. 5 short statements. First block, they'll show up on screen in large text. Just listen and answer to yourself yes, no, or somewhat yes. Your first instinct is almost always more honest than your second guess. Statement 1. When my partner takes longer than usual to respond, I start running through everything that could have gone wrong. Example: your partner replies with a dry okay, and you've already started mentally packing your bags. Statement 2. I find it hard to relax in a relationship, even when things are going well. There's a quiet thought running in the background. What if this ends soon? Statement 3. I pick up on the smallest signals in my partner's behavior. Tone of voice, response speed, facial expression, more often than I'd like to admit out loud. Statement 4. When my partner wants some time alone, my first thought is something's wrong between us, even when I logically know that's not true. Statement 5. I need quite a lot of reassurance that I'm loved. 1. Of course I love you doesn't hold me for very long. Count up how many yes answers you got. Hold that number. We'll come back to it. Not right away, a little later, closer to the middle, right when you're least expecting it. If even one of these 5 statements landed for you today, hit like right now, before we move on. It tells me this topic is resonating, and it helps me decide whether to make part 2 about how to actually live with this long term. If you got 3 or more yes answers, that does not mean you're too anxious. It means your nervous system learned at some point that closeness needs to be checked on, because once it turned out to be unstable. Not necessarily in childhood, it could just as easily have come from one past relationship. And now, the twist I promised. If you got fewer than 2 yes answers, don't jump to "I'm fine" and something's clearly off with my partner. You might genuinely not be the anxious type, but that doesn't mean you have no pattern at all. It likely just runs in the opposite direction. Let's go straight into part 2. 5 more statements on screen. Same rule. Yes, no, somewhat yes, no long deliberation. Statement 1. When my partner wants to talk about the relationship right now. Instead of "when I'm ready," I feel something close to pressure, physically, not just mentally. Example, after a genuinely great weekend together, you suddenly want to spend all of Monday completely alone, and you don't fully understand why. Statement 2. I'm more comfortable working through hard things on my own, even when my partner sincerely offers to help. It's not about distrust. Solving it alone is just somehow calmer. Statement 3. When a relationship gets close too fast, something like a brake kicks in inside me, and I want to step back a little. Statement 4. It's genuinely hard for me to be the first to say my feelings out loud, even when I know exactly what they are inside. Statement 5. When my partner is upset and wants to talk, my very first instinct is to step back for a second, rather than stay fully present with them. Count your yes answers in block 2. And now, the callback I promised at the start of this video. More yes in block 1, you're most likely the anxious type. Closeness calms you. Distance and uncertainty are what genuinely scare you. In daily life, it often looks like I need to text again, just to be sure, even when you logically know this is the 3rd text this hour. More yes in block 2, you're most likely the avoidant type. Closeness sometimes feels almost like a demand, and distance, by contrast, feels like a breath of fresh air. In daily life, it often looks like I need to be quiet first, then I'll explain, except your partner usually reads that silence as resentment, not as you gathering your thoughts. Low yes count in both blocks, you're most likely the secure type. You're generally at ease, both close to your partner and on your own, without sharp anxiety either way. That doesn't mean your relationship is flawless, it just means your baseline nervous system is wired fairly steady, and honestly, that's more of a gift than a personal achievement. I yes in both at once, that's anxious avoidant, sometimes called fearful or disorganized, the most exhausting of the 4. One part of you desperately wants closeness, another part fears it just as intensely. In daily life, it looks like writing a text and deleting it before you send it. If this is you, you've probably been tired of yourself in this role for a while, and it's far less rare than it might feel from the inside. It's normal to get scared of closeness moving too fast. It's just as normal to be genuinely afraid of silence lasting more than 20 minutes. Neither one makes you a difficult partner, and it certainly doesn't make you too needy or too cold. Now, the most important part of this entire video, more important than the statements themselves, your partner takes the same 10 statements separately from you, honestly, without any hint from you beforehand. If one of you is anxious and the other is avoidant, this isn't a story about 2 enemies. It's a classic, well-documented pattern. The harder one of you reaches, the harder the other pulls back. And the harder the second one pulls back, the more desperately the first one reaches again. The loop closes itself with no bad intent on either side. She calls in tears, and right at that moment, he quietly switches his phone to airplane mode just to breathe. Afterward, both of them are genuinely convinced they're doing everything right, and it's the partner who's not reacting the way they should. In reality, both of them are unintentionally feeding, through their own reactions, exactly what they fear most. Her tearful call confirms his fear that closeness equals pressure, and his airplane mode confirms her fear that she's about to be lifted. Each of them, taken alone, is reacting logically. Together, they've been feeding each other's same anxiety in a loop for years now, just with a different excuse each time. But what do you do if the loop has already closed tonight? There's one phrase. It works faster than any apology or any long conversation about who's to blame. If you're the anxious type, instead of the usual, "Why aren't you answering me?" try, "I'm feeling a bit anxious from the silence right now. Can you just let me know quickly that we're okay?" Literally a couple of words, no big conversation needed. If you're the avoidant type, Instead of quietly stepping away without explanation, try, "I need a little time alone, but I'm not going anywhere. I'll be back in about an hour, and we'll talk calmly then." If you're the secure type with an anxious or avoidant partner, you'll probably need to name it out loud once, rather than just quietly putting up with it. "I can see my silence is hard for you right now," or "I can see you need some space right now," on its own. That already removes a good half of the tension, because your partner stops having to guess on your behalf. If you're anxious avoidant, what usually helps isn't one phrase, but one honest boundary you set for yourself. Give yourself permission not to send the text right away. Give yourself 15 minutes to figure out whether you actually need a response right now, or whether that's just anxiety talking faster than you can think. All of these phrases are, at their core, doing the same thing. They take the scariest underlying question, what if this is the end of us, and lift it off both people at once, instead of leaving it hanging in the air for another week, month, or year. Your partner takes the checkup on their own, separately from you, with no hint from you beforehand. You can send this video with one simple line, not "we need to talk, just watch this, it hit close to home." That's enough. Nothing more needs explaining. And if you've made it this far, subscribe. The next checkup is specifically about what to do when an anxious type and an avoidant type end up in the same relationship, and how to break the loop for real, not with one phrase for one evening, but for good. And one specific question in the comments, not a vague one. Which type did you land on? Anxious, avoidant, secure, or anxious avoidant? One word is enough, no details if you'd rather not share more. Remember, at the very start, she's typing her third message in a row, and he still hasn't answered. She's not clingy, he's not cold. Her nervous system simply learned a long time ago to calm down through contact with another person. He's learned to calm down through a pause and a little space to himself, so he can come back centered again. And until today, neither of them may have ever realized that. Maybe you've spent this entire evening thinking about each other just as inaccurately. And maybe today is exactly when that finally changes. Not because either of you needs fixing, but simply because now you both know which language the other one speaks. See you in a week, and in the comments.